In this video, I'm going to show you how to simplify fractions. So far we have compared fractions, we have found equivalent fractions, and now we're working in the opposite way and we're going to simplify them. So when we were finding equivalent fractions, we were multiplying. When we simplify fractions, we are going to divide. Now there's no need to panic. You may not be as comfortable with dividing as you are multiplying, but division is just the opposite of multiplication. So if you have that times table mat, although there's a load of multiplication signs all over it, you can use it in the opposite way. You can use it backwards to still find your divisions and to find the information you need. So I'm going to show you some examples. We're going to follow some steps. The steps won't change. They are our steps to success, or our golden rules, and we will apply that. And then after this video, you'll be able to go away, have a go yourself, and if you need to return to the video to pause it, play it, rewind it, then it's always going to be there for you. So we'll start off with our fraction. So we've got 12/16, so 12 over 16, and we know it's equivalent to something over 8. So first of all, we got some missing information. Although what you'll notice this time is the fraction on the left, the denominator is larger than the other denominator, so 8. 16 is larger than 8. So step 1, as before, so as with equivalent fractions, we're going to use what we know. So use what you know, and that will help us to work out what we don't know. And what we don't know is the missing information. It's that missing numerator. So use what you know to work out what you don't know. We'll go ahead and, just for those of you who need reminding, we will label the numerator and the denominator. So up top we have the numerator, and below the bottom number is our denominator. So once we have worked out what we know, so we know one full fraction and we have half a fraction. So we need to look at the relationship between the numbers. So here we need to look at the relationship between 6 and 8, and we'll do that in a moment. So work out the relationship. And relationship here just means the link between these two numbers. They will be linked. Okay, you won't often find a trick problem, where the numbers won't be linked, and if there is, it's often the teacher's mistake, but that's normal. That's what we do because we are human just like you. Once you've worked out the relationship, you do the same to the numerator as you do the denominator, and vice versa. Let's move that. And then I'm not going to put a step 4, because by this point, once you've done that, you will have your missing value. Okay, as long as we remember that simplifying means dividing, so we're going to be using the dividing sign today, not the multiplying. Big divide sign there, then we'll get on fine. So we are going to find out the relationship between 16 and 8. So what needs to happen to 16 to produce the number 8? We know that 8 is half of 16, so 16 has to be divided by 2 to get 8. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same to the numerator as the denominator. We're going to divide 12 by 2, and half of 12, or 12 divided by 2, is 6. So now we know that our missing value was 6/8. So this is a simplified fraction. And what we mean by that is the end result, the equivalent fraction, is smaller than the original. Okay, so I'll just put that note. So the end result, or fraction, is smaller. So what you're doing is you're putting the fraction in the simplest form. Okay, we're not changing it. We are finding an equivalent. The value of it is still the same. But why would we mess around with huge numbers, 12 and 16, when we can make them really, really simple and turn them into 6 and 8? The fraction is still the same. Okay, they take up the same amount. You've still got 6 parts out of a total of 8, which is exactly the same as 12 parts out of the total of 16. So it's those links between the numbers that kind of make fractions an easier topic, believe it or not. So we'll have a go at another problem. So this time we're going to go a little bit larger, and we've got 16 over 32. So do it over here. Use a different pen. And we're going to find that that is equivalent to something again over 8. Okay, so step 1, we're going to use what we know to work out what we don't know. We have two denominators here. We have 32 and 8. We can't work out the relationship between 16 and the missing number because we don't have enough information. So when we say use what you know to work out what you don't know, you need to take the part, or whichever part of the fraction has the most information. So that is 32 and 8. So we're going to find out the relationship between 32 and 8. What happens to 32 to become 8? If you look down that times table, the 8 times table, what do you need to multiply 8 by to get 32? Now we flip it backwards because we're dividing. So we know that 32 divided by 4 is 8. So step 3, do the same to the numerator as you do the denominator. 16 is also going to be divided by 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Okay, so we know that 16 32s is equivalent to, is the same as 4 8s. And I want to take it one step further, because when you get to secondary school, you'll be asked to put a fraction in its simplest form. And its simplest form means the lowest it will go. Okay, now we know, some of you will already have noticed the relationship between these two numbers, between the fraction 4 8s. It's linking to the first lesson on fractions we did. So we're going to go again. And I know that both of these numbers can be divided by 4. So 4 and 8 can also be divided by 4. So I'm going to go ahead. And this is where the missing number game goes. So for some of you in your super challenge, you'll be asked to simplify fractions and you won't be given any information. You won't have a missing number to solve. You will just have an empty fraction. And that is where you need to find out which multiplication, which times table do the numerator and denominator have in common. Okay, so if I put a little note here, we know that 4 can be divided by 4 and 8 can be divided by 4. Okay, and we know that 4 here is our common factor. So that links way back to when we looked at factors. Okay, so we do 8 divided by 4 over here. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And if you haven't guessed it already, 4 divided by 4 is 1. So 16 32s is equivalent to 4 8s, which is equivalent to 1/2. 16 32s is the same as 1/2. All we've done is we've simplified it and we've put it